Om. Om. Sairam, everyone.
Sairam.
Just to recollect what we were discussing last week, Swami is explaining to us certain aspects of the concept of Maya, Avidya, Ajnanam. The Swami says there are many words by which it is described. Swami says there it has what's called a Avarana Shakti, and there is Vikshepa. Avarana is that which covers, and Vikshepa is that which projects something else. And within Avarana, Swami says there are two kinds of Avarana. Then Swami says one is Asat Avarana, other one is Abhasa Avarana. Asat Avarana, Swami says, is people do not have faith, any faith, and they dismiss things which are told in Shastras or a Guru says. They dismiss without having any faith. And the second one is even after studying the Shastras and understanding the concepts, they still do not have full faith, or they dismiss it, or that kind of avarana, or that kind of ignorance. Swami calls this abhasa avarana. I think that's what I remember. So we can continue from where we left off. Mr. Kalyani, you can do the reading. No, you are muted, I think.
Should we read the slide again or go to the next?
You can just read it once, I think, and then.
Sure.
Because if anyone has something.
Bhakta, how can Ajnana produce the samsara? I want to know, Gurudeva, from you. Swami, know that Ajnana has two powers, Avarana Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti, the veiling power and the projecting power. It veils the reality and projects upon it the unreal. The Avarana Shakti also acts in two different ways, Asat Avarana and Abhas Avarana. When a jnani and an ajnani meet, though the jnani teaches that the Atma is one and non-dual, the ajnani denies it. He cannot grasp the reality so easily. Even when he hears the truth, he has not got the faith and the steadfastness to imbibe it, and he will dismiss it with a shrug of indifference. This is the Asat Avarana. Now about the Abhas Avarana. Even when the person believes by his study of the Shastras and by the grace of Providence that there is non-dual Atma, he dismisses it as non-existent, carried away by cursory and superficial arguments. Though he has Chit, or the consciousness, which is aware of that very thing which he denies, the Moha makes him declare that it is non-existent. This is the sinister role of Abhas Avarana.
Okay, thank you, Kalyani. I don't know whether anyone has anything to comment on this, because we discussed it reasonably elaborate manner. I will just open it up for anyone who wants to say anything or ask anything. Saira.
Saira, I thought at one point before we had talked about, I may be remembering it wrong, but how the Chit does not have any self-awareness, that it's not really aware of itself. So here in this sentence where it says, though he has Chit or the consciousness which is aware of that very thing. So is it saying that the Chit has the ability to be aware of itself?
Chit itself is awareness, Kalyani. So I don't know where you heard, but I will ask others to say, because Chit is basically awareness. Okay, or consciousness. You're conscious of, or consciousness and awareness are two words which are used for Chit. That's my understanding. I will ask others to share anything which they have.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
This is such absolute is described in as Sat, Chit, Ananda. The three things, aspects of that. I mean, the same aspect of in three different ways he has been described. So he is Chit is consciousness, Sat is existence, Chit is consciousness, Ananda is bliss. So that Chit we are talking about. So there is nothing like Chit being different and consciousness being different. It is the same. Saira.
Yes, Sairam. So I think easy way to remember is Ba, which stands for being, awareness, blissful, Atma.
Yeah.
So being, awareness, and Satchitananda. Swami always talk about. Thank you, Sairam.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Kalyan, you okay? I don't know, means maybe on some other context we may have discussed it. The Chittam is not aware of the Atman. That's a different story. But okay.
Chittam is different from Chit.
Right.
Okay, then if no other comments, then maybe we will move on.
Bhakta, you spoke of the Vikshepa Shakti also. What is meant by that? Swami, though you are formless, changeless, and your nature is ananda or bliss, you are deluded into believing, feeling, and acting as if you are the body, which has form, which changes, and which is the seat of pain and grief. You refer to yourself as a doer and enjoyer. You speak of I, you, they, this, that, etc., deluded into believing variety and multiplicity where there is only one. This illusion, projecting many on the one, is called Vikshepa Shakti or Adhyarupa, superimposition. Bhakta, what is that? Swami, when you superimpose the object silver on mother of pearl, when you see not the stump, but the human form, you have superimposed on it, or when instead of the stretch of desert, you see a lake, you have superimposed the unreal on the real. This is Adhyaropa.
Thank you very much, sister. I think it's rather, Swami has nicely explained. That we imagine something which doesn't exist, looking at something which is something else. That's what it is. And Swami says that is Adhyarupa. So that causes multiplicity in this world, Swami says. So that's what I understand, but I will open it up for any discussion. Sairam.
Sairam, the Swami has talked about before how you see the stump and you imagine it to be a person. What's the metaphor of the silver and mother of pearl about?
Okay. See, so mother of pearl, it's a shell. Mother of pearl is a shell. And within that, you usually get the pearl. And if you open it, that mother of pearl has a sheen, something which shines. It's some shiny layer.
Oh.
If anyone looks at it, they will think it is silver, the metal. Okay, so someone who doesn't understand, they will, if you give it to them a mother of pearl, they will say, oh, this is silver, because it almost looks like that. Okay, so that's the mother of pearl seeming like the silver. Maybe you can Google mother of pearl and you will see. what I'm talking about.
What is the meaning of the actual word adhyaropa there? Can you break it down? Or
I will ask, I don't know, Mani Aunty, you will want to say Adhyarupa, you want to break out?
Adhya Rupa. Adhya Arupa. Can it be like that?
I think Adhyarupa, Aunty.
Adhya Rupa. Superimposition.
Yes.
You are putting something unreal on the real. So, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll have to look at the dictionary.
Yeah, I'm looking up.
Yeah.
But if anyone else has something to say about anything else, please go ahead.
Can it be like that? Arupa is unreality. You are
Yes.
putting Arupa. Arupa.
There's no form, Arupa means, isn't it, Auntie?
Yeah. Arupa is there is no form. Oh.
Anyone else would like to comment on anything, please?
Sairam, so in these famous examples, the rope and snake is superimposition or projection, and the rope is Brahman, which is the substance. So what we see, the multifarious world, we see the plurality, which is the superimposition on Brahman. So superimposition is the snake and Brahman is the rope. In the stump, the thief or the person is a superimposition, the world that we see. And the real stump is Brahman. And in the mother of pearl, the silver represents the multiplicity that we see, you and I and he and she and it. And the mother of pearl is Brahman. And also Bhagawan is saying about the mirage. So the mirage also he is saying, so the mirage that we see is a superimposition. That is false. But in fact, there is only a road or a path, anything, or a vast area. On a vast area, that is the basic Brahman, but we see water. So these are the analogy Bhagavan is talking in this chapter, these 4 examples. These are the famous examples in this Advaitic philosophy. I think I'll stop it. And also Bhagavan is saying here the kartrudvam and bhoktrudvam, everything is multiplicity, everything is false. And speaking of I, you, this, that, everything is variety and multiplicity, which is not true in fact. So it is similar to that we are seeing the snake on the rock. So we have to understand and practice that we are Atman, we are Brahman. That is a sadhana that we have to remind of always. Okay, thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, if that is done, why it says Viksheba Sakti, some sort of Sakti they have brought in here. That's why I'm wondering, what is the connection between the Sakti or the Viksheba Sakti and the superimposition, and what is the connection between, maybe Viksheba means it's a Maya Sakti, or that's the meaning of Viksheba Sakti?
Sai,
Sai-
okay, Andy, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Sai Ram,
Yeah.
Maya has got two powers. Shakti means is power. Two powers. One is covering, that is Avarana. It's also kind of a power. And Vikshepa is also a kind of power. See, these two powers are inherent in Maya. With those Shaktis, with those powers, we are deluded. Especially when it is Vikshepa Shakti. It's giving something else where there is natural, real thing is, we are, because of that power, the presence of that power in Maya, in Avidya, we think the rope to be a snake. That is called Vikshepa Shakti. Projecting, it projects something else, not the rope. It is giving the vision of a snake on the rope. That is called Vikshepa Shakti. Saira.
Okay, thank you so much, Auntie.
Sairam, and also Bhavan is saying that we discussed last time also, this power of Maya is inherent, latent in Brahman, but it lies dormant. It is not explicit. It is implicit. It is there. So that as Anand is asking, these are powers of Brahman actually. That's what Bhavan is saying in the other page, other paragraphs. Thank you, Saira.
So the thing is, Kalyani, that's why I looked at the Telugu and the dictionary. It should be not Adhya Rupa, it's Adhya Ropa. There should be an O. That's the first thing. I think Mani Auntie can check for me. Swami is saying Asatya Avastavu, Brantiche Aropinchutache Adhya Ropamani Anduru. So basically, so the words are, if Kalyani is interested, the words are as, dhan, and aropa. Those are the words which are there. Okay. What it basically means, you see something which is not there, which is a false attribution. As the, okay. Aropa means something superimposed. Okay. So it's adhya ropa. Okay.
Arun, can you just split it again? As and then?
See, adhyasa means Auntie false attribution.
Adhyasa.
The adhyasa is made of two root words. One is called as. As means to be, and dhan means you place something which is. Okay. And aropa means on top of something.
Aropa. The spelling here is arupa is given wrong. Yes. Aropa, R-O-P-A. It should be adhyaropa.
Adhyaropa. If you look at Telugu, Auntie, it says
that's
Brantiche Aropinchutaye Adhyaropamani Anduru.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. See, that's sometimes, that's why we need the Sanskrit and the Telugu.
Yeah, correct.
Sometimes the words are not spelled properly.
Correct.
Aropa means to place something on top
place
of something.
Aropa. Aropinchuta. We have that word when even when we are talking, we say that in Aropa. We put something else.
Something climbing up, something climbing up is Arop. Like, Arohana means something is
correct.
So you put something on top of something,
Correct.
That is
Thank you, Kalyani, for making it.
And that's
it's good that Kalyani asked, so,
that's good. Very good.
Can you repeat it one more time?
Auntie, please go ahead.
You go. She wants the thing. She wants the clear dividing of that word adhya ropa.
Yes. So as adhya has two roots. One is as and one is dhan. That means something is there and you place something. Dhan is to place. Aropa means on top of something.
Yeah.
So what you place something on top of that which exists.
Yeah.
As means asti means it is there. On top of that you place something, that is Adhyaropa. Okay.
Thank you.
Please correct that word, Kalyani.
Yeah.
Yes, she is
ROPA.
ROPA.
Yeah.
Very good. In multiple places it has to be corrected. I think, Kalyani, we may have to, one day we should go through all these corrections and, fix it and put together a document maybe. We'll see. Okay, thank you. If everyone is okay, maybe we will move on to the next slide. Is it okay?
Yeah, we can.
We have discussed this many times actually in Sandeha Nivarini anyway. So
Bhakta. Well, Baba, what is the real? What is the unreal? Please explain that too. Swami. The one and only non-dual Satchit Ananda Parabrahma is the real. Just as the name and the rupa of the snake are superimposed on a rope, this Jagat, inclusive of everything from Brahma to a blade of grass, all creatures, all inert objects like the earth, is superimposed on that Parabrahma Vastu. The Jagat is the Avastu, the unreal. That is the superimposed thing. Bhakta. This superimposition of the Nama Rupa Jagat on the Advaita Vastu, how is it caused? Swami, by Maya. Bhakta. Maya means Swami, the Ajnana Shakti of the above said Parabrahman.
okay, I think Swami is again explaining what is separating that which does not exist as Avastu, this entire creation which we see. Swami is Avastu. If anyone would like to comment on this.
So where Swami is saying inclusive of everything from Brahma to a blade of grass. So are we talking about like Brahma being like an aspect of God?
Creator. Yeah. Creator to inert objects. Because
so even Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are all Avastu.
Yeah, correctly. Yeah. This is the Sairam. They used to say in scriptures, from Brahma to the ant, they used to say. Ant, the crawling ant. So from the biggest creature to biggest creation to the lowest creation. But Baba is putting inert. Inert is the very lowest creation. No? So Brahma creates the world. So they start with Brahma actually. And usually in the scriptures that I went through, that they don't talk about Vishnu and Maheshwara usually.
No.
Yeah.
It means sentient as well as insentient.
Yeah, that's a meaning.
Right from the Brahma means the sentient being to the blade of grass, which is insentient.
Yeah.
Everything is included in that. It's
I think one of the problems we have is when we say unreal, then we think it is doesn't exist completely. You understand? Then even that concept itself is unreal.
Yeah.
Because we are also superimposing an idea on something which is the real truth. So mind is incapable of understanding that. But I think by unreal we know that it will never last. Even if we see that it's continuously changing and we are not aware of the change. That is why it doesn't exist. So in the Advaitic parlance, that which does not last forever doesn't exist. I mean, that is a temporary phenomenon. It's a passing thing, you know, a phenomenon.
Yeah.
So
That is
most
the
things,
that is the definition of unreal.
Yeah.
Definition of unreal is ever changing, and it doesn't last long.
That is the two words spoken by the Advaitists as Midya and Maya. So when they say Midya, as you said, are relatively true. So actually we see what we see is Midya. Jahat Brahmam Sadhya Jahat Midya. That is the famous words now from Vivekachudamani and everything. So as brothers and sisters said, for a jnani, a jnani sees this whole world as we see, but jnani sees the world as himself. Because he is experiencing Brahman, so for him, everything is Brahman. Isavasyam idam sarvam means that everything is Brahman in true reality. So for our understanding, we don't see it. We see it I, you, he, they, and it. But Jnani doesn't see like that. That's Bhagavad Gita also says that, the same idea that. So the Jnani sees himself in everything. So what exists is Brahman alone. But it appears to our incorrect vision as this multiplicity. So that actually, as brother pointed out, nothing to scare and run away from this world. It is there actually. It is there. It is changing, of course. It is not permanently changing, but that energy is there, one form or another. So it is not lost actually. So it is there, but it is Brahman for a jnani. For us, it is this world. We see the snake. Jnani see the rope. That's a difference. Thank you, Zaira.
thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Sairam, brother, can you explain that in the same way the last sentence what is Swami is saying again? The Ajnana Sakti above said Parabrahmam. What is? Thank you.
So I think Sister Anandi also already asked, what is this Shakti? You know, I don't know. I will ask others to say anything.
Because brother, it has relevance to the other lines also.
Next line also, no?
Yeah, the following lines I remember.
Yes. So maybe we will read the next slide and we will discuss sisters.
Yeah.
Because that way, you know, we will. Swami will explain because the questioner will ask. See, that already asked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bhakta, Ajnana Shakti means, Swami, I told you, did I not? The incapacity to understand Brahman. Though you are fundamentally Brahman, that is Ajnana. Bhakta, well, how does that Ajnana produce all this Jagat? Swami, the Ajnana Shakti does not allow you to see the rope. Instead, it imposes the snake upon it. It makes you see the Jagat, where there is only Brahman.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sister. So what Swami is, I think, based on what Swami is saying, seems to be, in this world, if we don't have the Ajnana, we will not function, you know, normally. So to some extent, that not being able to see makes us be able to function in this world. But the thing is, of course, the jnani also functions with the knowledge of what it is. But initially, I think it is better you don't know, so that you'll be fine with it. You know, depending on the age, I would equate it to if you see a small child. Okay, the child, for example, it does know what is fire, that it will burn. Okay, so what we do is it has its own imagination of what fire is. Okay, it doesn't really know what it is. But the thing is, that is needed to protect the child also to some extent. Otherwise, the child's level of understanding, it may start burning things. Okay, so sometimes nature itself is created in a way so that it protects somebody to a degree for self-harm also and harming others. I think that is why it is a Shakti. So it is divinely ordained. But the thing is, at some point, we have to overcome that. And that's what Swami is trying to help us. It's okay, we are living, but Swami says, how long are you going to be in the kindergarten? You can't be just play the same games. So you have to learn what it is. You have to grow up. So I think, so then you overcome or you understand what Ajnana Sakti is doing. As soon as you understand it, then you will be able to recognize the Brahman, as Swami says. That's my understanding. I don't know whether I confuse myself.
Thank you. That's good. Yeah, thank you. It's very good. Tyrant to make it some more clear about these things. So Bhagavan is saying that in Brahman, the Maya, the power of Maya is latent in Brahman. So he says in these examples, the snake is in the rope. In the rope, the snake is there hidden. The latent, it is latent. The form of snake is latent in the rope actually. But when it comes out, and we see that because Ajnana Sakti means incapacity to understand. Incapacity to understand. So what happens is in each of us, there is a power called Maya in each of us. Because we are basically Brahman. No? So we are basically Brahman. In the Brahman hidden is Maya Sakti. Maya Sakti has two aspects. One is Avarana Sakti and one is Vikshaba Sakti. Baba has explained here also the same idea. Now, both Sakti are, brother also one day, earlier one day, brother also explained this one. Now, the rope is there in the twilight, the rope is there, a piece of rope is there. So, it is hidden. The rope is hidden to our view. It is hidden. So, the Avarana Sakti is that. Hiding or veiling. So, due to the Avarana part of the Maya, the snake and the rope is hidden. That is one aspect. Then immediately, something else is superimposed, projected on it. The snake is projected on it. So, the Avarana Sakti and the Vikshava Sakti are in the same example. The brother one day explained it. Baba also explaining here. When you go through, you can see that. So these both, but Baba nicely explained in the real world what the snake that we are referring to. Whatever the multiplicity, you and he and everything, I, you, he, everything is multiplicity. That is the snake. But in fact, the Jnani sees only God, or only he himself. He sees himself only. So that is the rope. So the Maya in us, which has the two branches power like Avarana Sakti and Vikshava Sakti. So due to Avarana Sakti, the reality is hidden, and not only it is hidden. So it could be hidden, but it is not. It is not done. The Maya is not done. But after hiding that the reality, something also put upon it. to scare us. That is a Vikshava Sakti. So this Maya is in each of us and it working. As brother said, the spiritual sadhana is to bring the Maya within us. That is, we have to overcome or we have to overpower the Maya and see that we are Brahman. So that, in other words, we have to bring it under control and keep it within us without affecting us. So that is a thing going on, because because this philosophy, because this is the truth Bhagawan is saying, if we say that the Maya is away, Maya is apart from Brahman, then we will not be able to understand how can there could be another Shakti challenging Brahman. So how can the two things be powerful, Brahman and Maya? No, Maya is a latent power. Of, a good example could be the sun and the sun rays. Sun is the Brahman, the rays is the Maya, Shakti. So what we have to go back, we have to become the sun, not the sunlight or not the rays. We are now like rays. Let us be the basic, go to the base. Let us go to our true reality, which is the sun. So something like that. So thank you, Sairam. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Sai Ram, could we also think this way? Correct me if I'm wrong, please. So God is in smallest of the smallest, like atom, like Anuvit Kanuvaya Palka Palai. We are sang in and then in Gita, I think it is said even a blade of the grass won't move without God's grace. And then the vast of the vast, like mountains and rivers and all, or Jagat, universe. We only see them as objects or materials, but in each and every material, whether it's smallest to the smallest, or vastest to the vastest, God is behind, or God is the creator of the entire universe. I used to travel California almost every month. So when I go on the flight, I see through windows Great Lakes, Niagara Falls, and then Rocky Mountains and Grand Canyon. I only think of God's vast creation. It's all like from atom to mountains, all God's creation.
It is called Anoraniyan Mahato Mahatiyan.
Right.
That is the
Thank you.
Even the smallest of the Anu atom to the Mahan. Mahato Mahaniyan.
Thank you, Auntie.
Anoraniyan.
Sairam, even though maybe we started all these discussion with what is real and what is the unreal, devotee asked Swami, and Swami explained nicely, only the absolute Brahman is the real, all else are unreal. And when I come to Ajnana Sakti, I thought even though the Ajnana Sakti is unreal, but still we have to go through that one, because Brother Aruno explained that before we see the real thing, we should experience the unreal thing, how it would, and to prevent from those, or they prevent from harming from that one or harming to the others. We should experience in certain level the Ajnana Sakti too. Is that true? Or is that my understanding is correct? Or even though maybe when we look at when we hear the Ajnana, we always think that is bad. We shouldn't be having that Ajnana. We should be like Jnana. But without even go through that passage, we cannot really understand the truth. That is the absolute Brahman's philosophy. So my understanding, even though it says the Ajnana Sakti, still it's unavoidable to have that, to see the rope, like snake. And also I really enjoyed the Auntie Manibhashyam explanation. Up until now, I thought the rope and the snake, why they say maybe when we look here, maybe in the night, it would like snake, the long tie, the thin, the moving thing. But today I understood that maybe rope never moves, it's like non-changeable, and it will stay on a place. But the snake is the moving Shakti, so it wouldn't stay any place. It would time to time, it would change. It's like our maybe mind or our understanding. Maybe one day it would be in one place, another day it would be in a different place, so then the different position. That's why maybe the rope and the snake is the best example Swami has told in several places to explain the real and the unreal and the superimposition, the concept to explain it.
Yeah.
Actually, it is your imagination, ma. See, it's your imagination. When you don't see the rope properly in darkness, you are imagining. See, you just can't make out that it is a rope in darkness. You are walking there, you see a rope lying there, and you think, what is this? It looks like a rope. So you project your own imagination, that snake's picture on the rope, and then you in fact, you get scared also. Oh, it's a rope. Then you try to run away. But when somebody brings a torch and shows, no, it's not a snake, it's a rope. So the knowledge should arise to remove that ignorance. That is the thing. Actually, there is no snake, there is no rope is not moving, or snake is not moving there. It's your imagination. That is called the Vikshep Shakti in you. We have that avidya which is in us, has got these two powers. It can cover, that is, the rope is not seen by us, and then you put a snake upon it. So superimpose a snake upon the rope, and then both the Shaktis are in you. So when the knowledge arises, this covering Shakti, the veiling power as well as the projecting power will completely be removed, and then we are able to recognize the real rope, that is real Brahman. I think I have made it clear to you.
Yeah, thank you, Sai Ram, sister. Auntie,
you can call me whatever you want. Sister or auntie, whatever it is. Thank you so much.
Sairam, because the new things, and sometimes it's difficult to understand. No? So Baba, you used to tell an example, because it will be good, I think. Yeah, say the orange rind, the peel, not the rind. The rind is always bitter. The juice is inside. So that's what for Anandi I'm saying, because the juice is protected by the bitter rind. Sweet juice is protected by the bitter rind. Likewise, we have this Maya Sakti and the real Brahman, and both in a way. So from one state we have to go to the other state. Yeah, that's a good thing. And because we see education now, see, we are learning here. These are all Maya actually, but it has a meaning. with this understanding only we are trying to get the reality. So even though we are in superimposition, dialogue is going on between us, but it's needed. Brother explained that too, no? That's what I think is Anand is saying.
Arun, I think you said that, Ajnana Shakti is needed to
Needed.
know the real.
Okay, so
Jnana
I
Shakti.
think, yeah, I think I should clarify that. So I think Swami has already given, I'm again going back, it's Sandeha Nivarini, okay? For example, is the sun the cause for darkness? Let me ask that question. I think we discussed this. Is the sun causing the darkness? Yes. If you take this earth, the sun is the one which is causing the darkness. Because the sun is on the other side, the opposite side seems dark.
It's dark here.
So both light and dark are actually caused by sun. But then the sunlight is falling on the moon also, and the moon is making us see things. Okay. So why the night and day comes also, Swami will say, is only when there is a rotation, there is growth.
Yeah.
The time, so that is also part of the process. But the whole problem comes is sometimes we take the ajnana as a real jnana.
Yeah.
Then the problem comes.
Yeah.
See, if we think moon is the sun, then it's a bigger problem. But we should understand, in this darkness, the moon is needed. This darkness is caused by sun. The moonlight is also caused by sun. But the thing is the moonlight useful in the night? Yes, it is useful. Is the night needed? So the night is needed. So when you come daylight, then you know, okay, this is darkness, this is light. So that's also knowledge. So the Ajnana Sakti is other side of the coin of Jnanam itself. So I will say darkness is the other side of light. So, but both are caused by the same entity, which is Brahman. Okay. So that is the way this world is created. So I think what Swami is trying to get us is, understand it is darkness and know that darkness as darkness. Don't confuse darkness as light. So see, because for us to function in this world, it is needed.
Yeah.
The seasons to change, the night to change, the people to take rest, the darkness is needed. But then we think darkness is our life, then it's a problem. So I think the whole thing is, don't forget the sun. Don't forget the Brahman. When you forget the Brahman, you are in Ajnana. When you remember the Brahman, even though you are witnessing the Ajnana, you know Ajnana as Ajnana.
Yeah.
See, if I see a rope and see a snake, will the Jnani also see a rope and a snake? Yes. Only thing is, I may get scared. The Jnani will say, oh, this rope, it looks like a snake. He's seeing the snake, but he knows the snake for what it is. That becomes Jnana. And so I think Swami is asking us to get to that point.
Yeah.
Okay, recognize that you see that is natural. That's the way the world is produced. I'm basically trying to remember our own discussion. I think we have discussed this.
Yeah.
Sun, moon, and we have discussed same topic. See, same thing Swami is repeating, because the reality is that Sandeham is actually Ajnana. Nivarini is to get rid of that. So Swami started it there, discussed it in the middle, even in the end also he's discussing the same thing. The real Sandeham comes only because of Ajnana. And he's telling, how do you remove it? By knowing that the Lord is there. So that's my understanding. I hope I have clarified. If I had created confusion, I'm very, very sorry.
No, it is very good. Ajnana Shakti is a weapon through which we are trying to know the reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You can unless and until that Ajnana is removed, you will not be able to reach the real absolute. So that's very necessary, I feel.
Yeah.
Saira.
That's what Sister Anandi was trying to say.
Yeah, it's a really good explanation about to recognize the Ajnana Sakti and how to differentiate and how to overcome from that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
If everyone is okay, then we'll move to the next slide.
We can move, yeah.
Bhakta, Swami, when there is only the Advaita, non-dual one, how did the creation of all these worlds happen? Swami, you have come back again to where we started from. Even if I tell you now, it is very hard to grasp. Still, since you have asked, I shall tell you. Listen. The Ajnana Shakti exists in the latent form in the rope itself. That is to say, it is latent, unmanifested in the Brahman. This is also called avidya. It has as its base Brahman, which is Chit and Ananda. Of the two powers that Maya has, the Avarana and the Vikshepa, the Avarana veils the Brahman and the Vikshepa makes it manifest as Manas. The Manas creates all this panorama of name and form through the exuberance of vasanas.
Yeah.
Swami
Swami
is putting a caveat there, even if I explain, you may not understand. Because ultimately, it is something which we have to work on, and at the end, one day we will come to realize. It's not only conceptually, I think we should be able to live that. Whenever we look at anything, we should say, okay, it is this, but it may not last. It's okay, I think Swami wants us to cultivate that. That is the real understanding anyway. Because otherwise it will just conceptual, and then again doubt will creep up. So I think that's what Swami is referring. So I will stop here. I will open for any other comments, Saira.
I would like to tell, see, often Maya is used and Avidya is used, or Ajnana Shakti is used. We have to be very clear about these two. The same thing, Maya at the level of Ishvara, the ignorance is called Maya at the level of Ishvara. And at the individual level, the same Ajnana Shakti, it's the same ignorance is called Avidya or Ajnana Shakti. So these two names are the same, synonymous. Brahman, in Brahman, that is Maya. In an individual, it is called Avidya. That's how it's explained in the scriptures.
Yeah, thank you, sister. You were telling this repeatedly last time also.
Yeah, I told
you. Very good. And for philosophy, as a philosopher, we need to know the distinction.
Yeah. Maya, Avidya.
Yeah.
Maya at the level of Ishvara. Avidya at the individual level.
Is something like macro and micro.
Macro, yeah. Macro and micro.
Yeah. And Mahat and mind, the Mahat and intelligence, Mahat and intellect. Mahat is the whole vast. And when that Mahat enshrined in us, in an individual, is called intellect, the Buddhi. So Mahat and Buddhi, same connection as Maya and Avidya.
Very nice.
Because in Telugu translation also, Maya, Avidya ani vyavaharimpapadu ee Ajnana Shakti Nana Vida Rupamulako Karanam Chidrupamai Anandamai Yundo Brahmamun Asrayinchunduno. That's right. Swami himself is saying Maya, Avidya. He is referring to both as E Ajnana Shakti. It has got two names, Maya and Avidya. Swami is saying here also.
Okay. So Bhagawan is now talking practically now. So now I have taken birth. Why I have taken birth? Because of so many vasanas. So many vasanas done in previous births got accumulated, and it is in my mind, and the subconscious mind, it is there. So now the Baba is saying that the Viksharbam is Manas. he's saying of the two powers that Maya has, the Avarana and the Vikshobha, the Avarana veils the Brahman and Vikshobha makes it manifest as Manas. So the Manas is the basic of the whole world that we see. If there is no mind, we will not see the whole world. So the root of what we see is Manas. So what is the Manas actually? The Manas creates all this panorama of name and form through the exuberance of vasanas. If there is no vasana in me, then I will have no mind. Then I will not see this multiplicity.
Yes.
I will see only myself in me and outside me. So wherever it is me only. If there's no vasana, this was I was telling earlier in the cycle. So due to this imprints of the previous experience, which is vasana, it could be good or subha or asubha vasana, whatever it is. So that vasanas is the cause for the mind. So that mind is the Vikshava. So Brahman is in me, we say, in the core of my heart is Brahman. And that over that Brahman, I have this Vikshavam, the mind, because of the vasanas. And so he's equating that equating the snake, equating this appearance to mana, mind, to mind, manas. So whatever way is correct, what here Baba correctly putting us to. So Baba has told these vasanas, to get rid of the vasanas, his suggestion is that the Marina vasana could be overpowered, controlled by increasing the good vasanas. When the good vasanas is there, that is also vasanas, but it will make us dive deep within, or the meditation part or inquiry part or whatever it is. So that is, so when there is no Malina Vasana, when there's everything is good vasanas, then spiritual discipline become easier, and the concentration or meditation is become acute. Then totally that we are freed of. One day we will be freed of everything, and that will be the ultimate state. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, brother. So maybe, when brother was talking, and I was reminded of an analogy. Everyone, there was one guru. He had 3 disciples, and they were going for a walk. And when they were walking, they found the flagpole, and there was a flag fluttering. There was a lot of wind. The flag was fluttering. So he asked the first disciple, "What do you see there?" Then that student told, "Guruji, it is the flag is fluttering."
Fluttering, yeah.
Okay, the flag is fluttering. Then he said, "Is it so?" Then he asked the second disciple, "What do you think is happening there?" Then the second disciple apparently said, "No, Guruji, the flag is not fluttering, because flag cannot flutter. It is the wind which is making the flag flutter." Okay, the flag cannot flutter. It's the wind which is making the flag flutter. Then the Guru asked, "Is that so?" Then he asked the third disciple, "What is that? What is happening there?" Then the disciple said, "Guruji, there's a flag fluttering in my mind." Okay, there's a flag fluttering in my mind.
Yeah.
So see, there are three levels of observation and understanding. So it basically, see, sometimes so it's not as if the third disciple is not seeing something. He is seeing,
Yeah.
but he understands that is an experience in his own mind.
Yeah.
See, because the mind has created it, that has perceived it.
Yeah.
Mind has created the wind. So that is what I was suddenly reminded of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Example, how we can look at every event in this world and look at it 3-4 different ways.
Yeah.
So I thought I'll just share that. I hope.
Yeah, it is manovritti, what we call manovritti.
Yeah.
The vritti is the idea comes to our mind first. So the third disciple actually experienced that vritti, and then he is expressing it as it's in my mind.
Yeah.
So what is the state of mind of the third person then? Is seeing everything as Brahman? That's what it is.
In other words, it is just to say that whatever we see in the outside world, whatever we see in the outside world, it's all in our mind.
Right.
Our consciousness it's appearing in our consciousness. So the whole world itself is appearance. Mithya, when we say, the word mithya is translated as appearance. So the appearance of everything is in our mind. So the whole world, entire world is your own, the appearance of that world in your mind. That's what I understand. I think.
So the third person is seeing everything as Brahman. That's why he's experiencing that.
He's experiencing that, of course, and at the same time, he might be reminded of Brahman.
The Sairam. I think we better we put it differently, like that. For example, now say say certain boy and say certain man and woman is going on the road. I think that these are a pair of lovers, and Sister Aruna sees us as brother and sister. So the scene is same, but I am seeing them as lovers. Aruna is seeing them as brother and sister. So it is the mind that gives meaning to outside world. So actually my vasana, I have a Malina vasana. That's what I think they are secret lovers. And she has a good vasana, she thinks they are brother and sisters. So the scene is same for Jnanis also. Jnanis see the same thing, but they see it as themselves. They see it as God only. So whatever that we see outside, depending on our vasanas, that vasanas, mind, depending on the mind is activated through the vasanas. So basically vasana. So that is how we have to look at it. So when the third disciple tells that the flag is fluttering in his mind, means that he has some inkling of vasana in him. That is what he is seeing outside. That's what he is saying, that if there is no vasana about wind blowing and flag fluttering, is that idea is not in his mind, he will not see anything. The fourth disciple could see nothing. The fourth disciple could say, I didn't see anything, Guruji, because he is no vasanas in him, whatever it is. So that is what it is. I think Sairam.
Okay, I think brother explained. Maybe I will also try slightly differently.
Yeah.
See, the first disciple only saw the flag. The second disciple saw understood the wind and the flag.
Yeah.
The
both.
third disciple understood the role of the mind also.
Mm.
There was a fourth person in this example which I gave, which is the Guru.
Mm.
For him, as Brother Sivada said, nothing is happening.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he was in Brahman. Okay, so the thing is, so there are different levels of progression. So the third disciple, you can say he has become a jnani,
Mm.
but the Guru is identifying with Brahman. He is identifying with everything. That's why he didn't say anything. So
Yeah.
that's why they say the jnani, the real jnani will not speak, like Dakshinamurti.
Mm.
He will be
The-
silent.
Yeah. The third disciple has the experiential knowledge. The third disciple has
Mm.
the experience of the whole thing. So, and at the same time, by experiencing that, ultimately, I think he might reach the origin.
Yeah.
Were you, how did it come?
Mm.
The air is there. So the 5 elements he might remember, and then he come to the conclusion that yes, the source is Bhagawan, the source is Brahman. He
Yeah.
might come to that conclusion. Saira.
And so the third disciple, his inquiry leads to remove that total idea of the flag and everything, that
Yeah.
vasana. So that person is ready to the inquiry part, and through that inquiry, he will
might
get rid of this vasana. That's a meaning of that.
He has understood the concept of Vikshepa.
Vikshepa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
that's a very
understood
good
the
point.
concept of Vikshepa.
Yeah.
Because Vikshepa is Manas.
Yeah.
He has identified the problem. As
Yeah.
Brother Sivada said, once you identify, half the problem is solved.
Saira, I thought that we said that when you become enlightened, it's not that the snake will disappear, or it's not that the Vikshepa Shakti like disappears. You still see all this world and everything, but you just know that it's the rope and not the snake. So will it really disappear? Like he really will not see the flag or he will see it, but he will know what's the underlying truth of the flag and the pole? Because it's still I'm having a hard time understanding how the mind creates things, like the flag, for example. So even though I'm seeing the flag and experiencing it and perceiving it in my mind, and so are other people, but if my mind were to end, or if I were to die and my mind ends, that flag is still existing outside of my mind.
Yeah, Sairam. Actually, yeah. So for a jnani, that will not affect him at all. The outside world will not affect him at all, and he will see himself as he see the flag as himself, the wind as himself. Because there are jnanis in this world. There are jnanis. Say recently that Sekt Ramana Maharshi, so he's a supreme jnani, okay. So he was living with the world, he was talking to everybody, he was advising, giving spiritual counsel, answering, eating, reading papers and everything. But he is jnani, because as brother said, he understood that he said nicely, brother said. So he didn't, he sees it, but not affected. So when he leave the body, that's the question comes. When he leave the body, then he will not see even the flag or the world, because we need eyes to see the flag. We see all the 5 organs to see this world, but the 5 organs are in the body only. So when the body is removed, how can he see anything? So he is the real ultimate Brahman. So that is the thing. Jnani state, and you know that Videha Mukti and Deha Mukti and Videha Mukti. So So when it is Videga Mukti, that's it. Nothing is there.
So, brother,
Yeah.
so then when the Guruji is asking that question, what he wants the disciple to see. So what his, he is in the Brahma stage. So what he is seeing only he wants the disciple to see, right? So what kind of mindset he's asking that question from the disciple then? He wanted to see it's as all Brahman. That's
Yeah, he sees it as Brahman, but he's teaching, no? The gurus always teach the students, no?
or
So,
to understand what's the level they have reached.
yeah, and make them to understand, go progress, gradually progress like that. The third disciple is better, no? The best of the three. So he will advise accordingly. That's the thing. The Bhagawan is here. Bhagawan is teaching all these things.
So the Guruji wants to bring to the disciple to see everything as Brahman. That's the point here, right?
Everything as Brahman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To
everything
see
as
everything as Brahman.
Brahman. So what is the problem? Not able to see the Brahman? Vasanas. That's the reason. Vasanas, imprint in the mind. So that that in the writing in the water, on the water, when we write on the water, no sooner we write than it get erased. Or airplane goes over the air, in the air. Does it leave any what is it, footprint? No.
No,
So
trail.
trail. Does it leave any trail? No. So likewise, we have to come to that level. That's a teaching behind.
Maybe
So,
I will
yeah.
I will try another angle.
Yeah.
I think Sister Kalyani's question, I think Kalyan, your question is, you asked what is the jnani seeing? You know? So when you then we are saying we have to see Brahman. I think two words we are using. Generally, when normal human beings, when we think we see, we think we should imagine. Okay. If I look at it and say I am Brahman, does it mean that I'm really seeing Brahman? No. I can tell, oh, that is also Brahman, I am also Brahman, I am that. No. Do I become that? No. Because the mind is actually completely stopped.
Yeah.
You should not see through the mind. So at that point in time, when the jnani experientially realizes that he is the flag, he is the wind, you know what he will be able to do? He can stop the flag. He can stop the wind. He can stop the mind. Okay, that is ultimate realization.
Yeah.
Okay, see, if Swami has done miracles, means actually what he was doing was, once in a while he was giving a glimpse of that. I can make nature also dance to my tune. Why? Not because some power, I am doing, no. When I identified with it, I can make anything change in this world. Yeah. So, but that is not through mind, not imagining, okay, I am Brahman, that is Brahman. This is the mind playing the trick. It's okay to, it's okay to, teach the mind to think like that, but mind will actually fool us again. So that is why you have to still the mind so much that you should not even think through the mind. Yeah. But it's a difficult thing for most of us, because we are used to using the mind. Now we can get rid of it. So your question is, okay, at that time, what will I be thinking? Is the question you're asking.
Yeah.
The jnani will, the Brahman, one who has identified with the Brahman will not be thinking.
Yeah, that's true.
His mind itself is silent. Okay. If it is working, he has made the mind work. Okay, that is that ultimate realization that I am divine, everything is divine. That is the state. Not just imagining, see, okay, now I am going to think I am in my Brahman. It will not happen.
Yeah.
Because it's mind fooling us. Okay, so this is this way. That is why in the previous chapter, Swami already spoke about dhyanam, which is kind of stilling the mind. So we have to still the mind. But first of all, we need to know that the mind is the culprit. The third disciple was a lucky fellow. He has gone there. He knows the mind is the culprit. Okay, but he has to work on even stopping that. He still sees something difference, duality is there. This is my understanding, theoretical though. But I thought, because you asked the question, so I thought I will discuss what my mind understands. Okay, so so I will put a caveat there, but I think we have to go somewhere. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's okay.
So the intention of the guru, she was asking, Kalyani was asking, what was, I think Sister Aruna was asking, what was the guru expecting from the disciples? So I think ultimately he wanted to teach them this, but the third disciple stopped at the experiential knowledge. That's it. He has not further gone away from that step. Is he? No. He's still there. He has to go further to realize that it is that he has to identify himself with that star, with that flag and the fluttering of the flag and the wind, everything. And when he identifies himself with that, then he can stop. Only Swami, as you said, Swami used to identify himself with the nature, with the elements. He could stop. He could stop the wind. He could stop the rain. Anything he wanted, he could stop. Only for a short while, not always. That's a glimpse of his power, Brahmanhood, or you can say what do you say?
Yes,
his divinity. His divinity. Yeah, Saira.
Yeah.
Sairam, there is a little follow-up question to clarify something. Say, for an example, the gurus, when they teach to their disciples, according to our discussion and everything, if they are with Brahman, then their mind would shut down and the mind wouldn't work. So when they teach their disciples, if it is a guru, it's a real guru, when they teach to their disciples, they wouldn't be talking. Maybe Atman would talk through them. Maybe their mind and everything would be shut down at that time. So only the Atman come through. It's like an equipment, the downloading equipment, their mind. Only the Atman would talk from them as an equipment. So everything, maybe that's why all the rishis and everything in the ancient time, they say that it's really maybe all the words from the Brahman, just through them only, because their mind wouldn't work, but whatever coming from their mouth, it would be from Brahman itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can take it like that, because nobody knows how it works now. So you can take it like that, because like a speaker, speaker, the voice is coming from somewhere else. The speaker is there, so they are like speakers. So through them, if say Bhagawan is speaking and writing, and so yeah, something like that. You can take like that, because we don't know really, unless we understand, experience it. So, but to say that Brahman is speaking, also there is a mistake is there, because it cannot speak, it is silent only, no. So we can't explain that feature, how the jnanis react in the world and act in the world actually. So it is something that we have to ourselves experience it, because God is absolute silent. That's what the Vedas and everything is saying. No? So, yeah.
why my question came from, Brother Aruno said that maybe the Guru Dakshinamurti always keeps silence, you know,
Yeah.
and I thought myself, if Dakshinamurti always kept himself in silence, then how he was able to teach all his disciples.
Okay, I will tell a story. I think it's 417, sister. I will tell a story if people have 5 minutes or less than that. So it's from Swami's life. So the thing is, Dr. Bhagawantam was a very close devotee of Swami, a great scientist. He used to translate Swami's talks. And whenever foreigners used to come, Swami used to ask him to come, and Swami will talk in Telugu and he will translate. And sometimes what Swami used to do is, if there are sometimes people from Russia or European countries come, they don't even know English, but there may be one person who knows English. So Swami will call Bhagavantam, and Swami will speak in Telugu. Then he will translate it in English. Then someone from that group will translate it into their language. So this usually goes on. So after some time, Bhagavantam said, Swami, really needs my help, like that. So, that I think the thought was going up. So one day there was an Italian group, apparently Swami called. And he saw them assembled. So he also went and sat nearby, waiting to be, called inside. And Swami asked everyone to go into the interview room. And Swami went and closed the door. He was sitting outside thinking, none of these fellows don't know English. So I'm sure, Swami forgot. He forgot that, he needed me. So let me wait. The door is going to open and he's going to call me. No. So he waited for some time. And then after some time, it didn't happen. After about half an hour or 1 hour, the door opened and they all came out. And they were all laughing. Some of them were crying and all that was happening. And so this Bhagavantam got puzzled. What happened inside, So then Swami again went back into the room. And so Bhagavantam got up and went behind these people and talked, are you happy and everything. And with their broken English, they communicated apparently. And then they asked, what language? English? They said, no, Italian. So he thought, Swami has spoken to them in Italian. So then he says, Swami knows all languages. Yeah. He must have been knowing Italian. He has proved that he is divine. So he came and sat again. And after the bhajan that day, he usually has lunch with Swami. So Swami, he went inside and he went for lunch. And then Swami asked, then he wanted to ask Swami what he did. He got one side of the story. So he asked, Swami, these people came, how did you talk to them? Swami said, heart to heart.
Heart through heart.
Heart to heart. The thing is, can you imagine? See, Bhagavantam was thinking what is going to happen. That is his understanding. But the devotees felt that Swami spoke to them in Italian. Okay. But for Swami, he said, I spoke from heart to heart. So the communication, how it takes place, only the Guru knows. Which is, I hope it answers your question. Whether he speaks or he doesn't speak, he can still communicate. So I thought I would just tell that story.
Yeah, Dakshinamurti transmitted language through silence.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the heart-to-heart teaching took place there.
Yeah.
Saira.
Yeah. We'll finish it. We'll stop it.
Yeah.
Good one. Yeah.
It's a really good one. I was wondering how he was able to teach all his disciples. Now I know.
See, it is again, the disciples were ready to receive also, you see.
Yeah, they should be ready.
It's not that the Guru's job is only half. The disciples also become receptive. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's not possible to receive. Because Swami says 2 hands are needed for clapping.
Yeah.
The Guru is ever ready with 1 hand, but the disciple has to do their part. Do a little bit of effort. Swami says take 1 step at least.
Swami's glimpse is, if he look at us, is enough. That's his big grace. Just a look, a glance. Yeah.
Even the glance would transmit whatever we are thinking and whatever Swami is thinking. it will come to us.
Yeah.
Even the glance would tell us what he means. Sai Ram.
Sairam.
So we'll close with Samastaloka and Shanti, and we'll continue next week. I think we are coming to an end of.
Next week we will finish it, and we'll start with Dhyana Vaini if there's time. Okay.
Okay.
Time.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, Sai Ram, Samastaloka.
Yeah.
Oh. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Sairam.
Sai Ram.
Ram.
Yeah.